glad I could hide inside.
Hmm.
But let's hope for a great weekend. Everybody can get out there in the garden. Everything's growing. Everything's starting to look gorgeous. Plants are putting on buds.
Can I ask you a local question?
Yeah, sure.
This is very local. What are the rules with the landfill bringing? Like, you cut down a lot of bushes.
Okay.
What are the rules for that?
You can bring that in. I think they have to be no longer than 4 feet and no bigger around than 4 inches or 6 inches. So so that it'll fit in their chippers when they take it there. But yeah, when you're going to like the canal recycle or even down the landfill,
right,
where you're going to be putting it in the yard waste piles, and as a resident, I believe you're allowed, like, it's kind of like a pickup truck load, which is usually like 2 yards or something like that.
Yeah, I don't understand that whole.
Approximately,
What does that mean, 2 yards?
2 yards. It's a measurement.
Yeah, I know, but
not too.
How do you
Never heard what? It would be like a pickup truck. It would be like the bed of a pickup truck, and it could, it doesn't have to just be in the bottom part. It could be heaped up.
And that's
approximately your average pickup truck holds about 2 yards of mulch, of soil, of.
So the word yard actually is defined as what?
It's what is it as?
Is it a weight?
It's a measurement, a size.
Not 3 feet though. Not that yard.
No. Well, in a way it is, but it's 3 feet by 3 feet.
Oh.
3 feet.
Oh, like a yard cube.
Cube. Right.
If you could somehow make it into
it might be square yard, which would be 3 by 3.
That doesn't seem like much.
It's not. Well, I mean, when you figure it could probably it's cubic yard. I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's why I was
but
asking.
it is. It's the length of the logs and the diameter, so that they will be easily manageable to run through the.
So what's the worst that would happen if I go over the limit? I pay a little fee or something?
I don't even know if and a household kind of stuff you're generally not going to.
No.
I mean, unless you really cut down a big old tree and try to haul it off. They'll probably tell you have to take it. If you were trying to take it to, like say, Canal, I know is the closest one to us.
Right.
They would probably tell you to take it to the the landfill.
Huh. Well, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
The landfill has different rules.
Yeah, well, the landfill, because it's right there, it doesn't then have to be, at the recycle centers, you have to then pick it up and put it up into another trailer.
All right, we've got a phone call, and it looks like you got more than one phone call happening. Good morning, you're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hey there, a yard is 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, which is basically the size of a cube of 9 cubic feet.
So how do you measure that when it's branches? They're not square.
Well, yeah.
A bit of a pickup truck.
The size of the container that you're going to jam branches in. And she's like a level pickup truck. They will take, and you can unload it right there without going across the scale.
Okay.
And there's a little place there that you can put your leaves and small branches and about the dimension that she said without going over the scale. If you've got a whole bunch, and it doesn't matter how big or round it is or anything else, on a trailer or back of your truck, heaped over, then you go across the scale. They weigh your truck, you go back, unload it into
it's just a little fee, right?
You go back across the scale and they measure then they figure how much you left there, and it costs you about $2 or something.
It's not a big, it's not a big.
That's how you do it.
That's
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I was so concerned about the cost as much as I was rules of what you could
Right.
bring.
What you could bring in, right.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, actually, the cubic yard is not 9 cubic feet. It's 27. It's 3 by 3, which 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27.
Oh, okay.
So, cubic yard is
Yeah,
27.
yeah.
We got a math here.
You gotta put all those cubic feet into that cubic yard in order to get,
Yeah. But if you jump up and down on them, they get smaller.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. All right, thanks.
Don't jump on them if there's thorns. So.
No, watch out for the thorns. I do want to take care of a couple things before I forget about them, and we do get some calls, a whole bunch of calls coming in, and we always seem to do that. There's several things that are coming up rather quickly, actually. If you have ever thought about wanting to become a master gardener, the orientation, the important dates to remember is there's an orientation on May 29th. It's going to be over at the County Extension Office, and it runs from 10 to noon. You need to be there from 10 to noon, so you have to figure on a 2-hour time slot, because they really do go over the whole concept of what it is to be a master gardener, what it takes time-wise, the amount of what type of education you will receive to become a master gardener, and what you have to put back into the program in order to maintain that title of a Florida Master Gardener. The difference between a Master Gardener, which you sometimes see on yard maintenance or landscape company trucks, or Jerry Brown's mailers that come in the mail with all his different tonics, is a Florida Master Gardener is actually a registered trademark through the state of Florida with the University of Florida. It is all in conjunction with Extension, University of Florida. That's where you're trained through. University of Florida is a land grant university, founded, I don't know, what was it, 18 something, and that's where the extension program came from, that in order to help the county agent fulfill his duties to the farmer and such within their county, and then it branched out from there. And back in the 70s, the Master Gardener program came about in order to put volunteers to the homeowner level to help the homeowner with their smaller gardening issues, giving the county extension director the ability to do an even broader scope of work. But they do have, they say, no green thumb is required. They'll kind of teach you that. But it is, the orientation is May the 29th. Just bring your paper and pencil to write with, so you can get some information. I'm trying to see, there's no deadline on that. If you want more information on it, 71-8400. After the orientation, they hand out applications. You will take your application home, or you can fill it out there and leave it with them by June the 3rd. After that, they will be doing interviews. They will go through all the applications and select whatever the class size is going to be, because we're limited on the amount of people we can do based upon our classroom size, as well as the ability to take in field trips that sometimes go up to the university or to other areas, to where people don't have to drive their personal vehicles to go to these events. We have a couple of vans within the county that can do that, but those will be by the classes begin in August 21st and ending November the 20th, and they do run all day. They are 9 to 4. It is a whole day in the classroom or a field trip. It is an intense course, and the cost is $160. That is your books and other printed material. The course itself really doesn't cost you anything. It's the amount of books, the paperwork you get that you get to refer back to. So if you've ever wanted to become a master gardener, think about that. May 29th is the orientation. Plan on a 2-hour from 10 to noon. And another one, because this one I understand, yes, that we have a deadline on this. Anybody with children ages between 8 and 14, they're having the Marion Sprouts Summer Camp. It's a week-long camp from 8:30 to 4:30 on plant growth and development, water, gardening for food, soils, garden pests, career explorations, plan ID, environmental horticulture. It's an introduction for your youth to the art of science and gardening within gardening. So that one has a cost of $75 per child. It covers all the supplies. Registration deadline for this is May the 17th. You can again call over there to the extension office 671-8400. They do say campers must be able to read and write by the time you're 8 until you should be able to read and write. So that's just my commentary on that part of it. But yeah, if you're interested, if you've got children or grandchildren, it's in June is when the camp's going to run, 24th through the 28th, and it's kind of a fun time for the kids. A little intro to this too. It's a fun summer camp where they actually get to learn a little something. Not just make crafts, but do some plant ID.
Use the rest of their lives.
Do some career exploration and learn a little more, about some other things that are out there nowadays within the school systems. You're doing career exploration starting there at about the 3rd grade. I think even before that in some
Really?
things in a very small, in a very small way. Some of those other ones are, but it's they're constantly trying to push it forward. I think, and it used to be you went to school to learn to read and write, and now it's okay. I need to learn to read and write this way because this is what I want to be, but I'm only 5.
You don't think of it that
I
way
want to
when
be.
you're
Yeah,
5.
no, you just want to be the teacher because you like your teacher. But yeah, they're going. Yeah, and it is something interesting that does give kids an idea, though, of some other idea, the other options that are out there. They may see their parents as nurses or factory workers or mechanics, and there are some other fields out there to explore.
Does the course to become a master gardener award, what am I trying to say, credits like toward an actual degree?
No, they don't. No, these are strictly, we are considered skilled volunteers within the county, which puts the dollar value to the county based on the master gardener, the amount of hours master gardeners do. It's something I believe the rate went up. We're valued at like $10 or $12 an hour.
Wow.
We're not paid $10 or $12. I forget the actual number now, but it's valued at that. So the amount of like the 3,000 plus hours a year that are volunteered through that are hours that were not paid for, but they're valued at. You do the math.
So how do you use that value? You can't get paid for it.
Well, we use it. We educate people. How do we use it?
Yeah, how do you use once you accrue?
I mean, the county. That's how the county can justify sometimes within some budgetary monies that the extension director can get for some of the educational programs. We put together like the Sprouts.
I thought you could maybe trade it, like you get a parking ticket. And I've accrued about $3,000 worth of volunteer hours.
Can we just take it out of that? No. Actually, what you do, you actually do. You trade them in for a pin. It says you've done your hours.
For real?
In a way. Yeah, we have an annual recognition of and things like that. And because it is an organization, I probably off on the numbers now. We always maintained about 110 people within the organization, because you have some people who leave who don't stay on, others who move away. Some people will transfer in from other counties, and you've got 110 people, and the amount of hours that they put in every year is it's quite amazing, and that it does add up, and it does, and you are recognized pretty much with a pat on the back, but it's still it's still a fun thing to do. I mean, I've got pins from my first year I was a master gardener. I did not make 250 hours. The loss I was required to have for the year when I joined was 50 hours. I believe new incoming master gardeners are probably 75 hours annually. That's all you have to put back in.
Do you know?
Well, I do think you can actually write some of that off on your taxes, but you got to have a good accountant to know where it needs to go.
Well, the volunteer hours that you put into it primarily are educational.
Yes.
You're helping, at least on the radio.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many people realize you volunteered to do this radio show.
Right.
I was going through my old files, by the way, the other day, and I found quite a few videos that we've made in the past. I didn't realize how many we made.
Yeah, we did a few. We did.
You potted some plants. You put some of that.
Some tomatoes.
Yeah.
We replanted the pepperoni
right
over here, which that thing looks great.
Right. That was your line. But anyway, yeah. And for those who don't know, these shows that Carolyn does are recorded and put onto YouTube on the WOCA channel.
Oh, okay.
So you find them all there.
So just
unless I messed up, but I didn't get them on
didn't get them all on there.
Well, sometimes it's not me.
A glitch within the system. That's right.
In fact, today there was a little glitch, so they might have missed the beginning of it.
That's all right.
The song.
To me, shuffle around papers anyway in the beginning. But that, no, with most of this stuff, everything that master gardeners do, and many people, I am one of them. That's how I speak from the experience. I became a master gardener for self-serving reasons. I wanted to know more about how to grow the vegetables and things in my landscape, in my yard. And once you get into this, it is, you transform, and you want to tell other people how they too can do this.
Is the garden
and
rebel
that's
a master gardener?
Probably not by.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe he goes by. He may call himself a master gardener, and there are different programs, but I don't know if he's ever gone through the actual program. Jerry Brown calls himself, he's one who's, if you ever get any of the mailings, if you start getting gardening magazines, sometimes you get his, where it's got the concoction using the Listerine and the beer and the baby shampoo and this and that to spray your yard with. That's where some of the battle between the names Master Gardener came from, is that we are Florida Master Gardeners, and he can still call himself a Master Gardener.
So Florida Master Gardeners wouldn't suggest Listerine on your garden.
I wouldn't keep it in the bathroom for your mouthwash. Yeah, no, anything that comes out of the university has been gone through. Anything that Master Gardeners are giving out as information is information that has been scientifically gone through. I mean, some of them might be a little bit still on a experimental basis, or the ideas are not fully, fully vetted through, but it's still research based. Jerry Brown's tonics are nothing against them, but they are, he's mixed together this, that, and the other thing, and each of those little things you can say, yes, they will do something.
So who is Jerry Brown?
He's calls himself a Master Gardener.
Local guy?
No, he's not a local guy. He's throughout the United States.
Okay.
I don't know where he's based out of.
And he makes tonics?
He recommends, he's got a couple books out where you mix this, that, and the other concoction together and spray across your lawn or treat your house plants for pests or fertilizer.
Do they work?
This and that. In some instances, they probably do, but not all. It's something,
So it might not get the roaches, but they'll have fresh breath.
You have, yeah, there you go. I mean, you can use rubbing alcohol for some pests. It will work. You can take especially houseplant type plants that are more sensitive to chemicals and use it. You can use oil, vegetable oil, which even I recommend, the university recommends for pests, because again, it does work. I'm not going to use a quart of vegetable oil in a bottle of something and a couple of cans of beer and another bottle of something else, when I can go and I can buy a product that's already, and it's been tested, proven safe and effective when used as directed on the label.
Okay.
on my yard, and I'll have my beer when I'm done. You know, the Listerine will stay in the bathroom, the dish soap stays in the kitchen sink, by the kitchen sink, and that's because all of those little things you think, oh, I can make it myself.
Although,
think about how much money you actually spend.
But didn't you offer ideas for the safe soap?
The safer soap, yes. It's on something like that. That's a real simple one, but his are usually concoctions listing, with all these things. And if you're buying a quart of this and a quart of that, and then you're taking and blending those all together and spraying them out, you just spent way more than I did.
As a Florida master gardener, are you somehow, I don't know if regulated is the right word, but in other words, if you give advice, do you have to qualify? Look, this isn't exactly the master gardener's advice, but this works.
As when I do it here, that's why I do this show as a master gardener, lowercase letters,
right,
versus the Florida. I will bring you anything I can. I do use the university stuff, but if I stuck with strictly what the Florida master gardener said, I can't tell you to use one product over another. I have to give you 3 options.
Okay.
Here's the 3 different things you can use. Pick your favorite.
Really?
In a way, yeah.
So black cow would be just one?
That would be one. Cow manure would be what I would tell you to use instead of black cow. I would tell you to use a slow release fertilizer, not either Osmocote or Dynamite or.
And you have a phone call. Let's go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Carolyn.
Good morning. I understand that you can take an Easter lily and plant it outside.
Yes.
Can you tell me the best place to plant it and in the sun, out of the sun? What do
I would
have to do to keep it going?
To keep them going, to get them to come back each year. Let me see, on the Easter lily, I may have to look that one up in particular, but usually that one, I know most of the bulbs I have are the ones that come in like a little bit of filtered sun in the afternoon, but a good amount of sun the rest of the day. And, just because it is a bulb in there, when you get the bulb out, I'm trying to think of even the best one. I'm trying to find my page here. Haven't had to look up my Easter lit. Haven't had to look up anything in a while. So you threw me a loop there.
Sorry about that.
No problem. They're usually don't you don't want to plant them any deeper than what they're already growing. That was the optimum depth for them. And so with the wrong one. I believe the tags on most of them are telling you a full sun location. For us, I would try to make sure that, you know, in the summertime, that it's in an area where it might be getting some afternoon, late afternoon shade, just because they do have a little bit of a larger leaf. They do, which transpires more moisture from, you know, the plant, that helps to dry them out. Otherwise, you're watering them a little more. Good earthy soil. Use some of the bone meal and blood meal in when you're planting them, and that way they're going to that just sort of nourishes that bulb. I wouldn't cut the green part off of the top of it until the green part of it actually dies back. Okay. And then with that, it's just, in a way, keeping them keeping the area, you know, free from weeds.
When would be a good time to plant it? Like, you get a lily this Easter.
If you had a lily this Easter, the flowers faded, I would go ahead and plant it out.
Plant it now?
Yeah, I would go ahead and plant it out, because otherwise the plant in the pot's not going to keep going. We're apt to forget about it, or it gets underwatered. So if you put it out in the garden now, it's going to keep going and growing and nourishing that bulb until next spring.
Okay.
Just put a little flag or something, so that should the top die down, you know where it's at.
Right. Okay.
That's the hardest part on some of those, when they disappear, is remembering that that's where we put it. And I've had some people say they don't always come back. Others say that they will. So it may be a little hit or miss on the planted varieties.
Okay.
I don't know if they hybrided them, that they're not quite as hardy on that kind of on that type of way, that they, you know, they force them in the nurseries to be blooming a little earlier.
So do you have to take it out of the ground or dry it like you do some bulbs?
Not to my knowledge. We don't usually dig any of the bulbs up here. We leave them all in the ground, because our soil doesn't freeze, our ground doesn't freeze.
Okay.
That's the biggest reason we don't have to. And then in our winter months, anyhow, we're a little bit drier, so they're not getting waterlogged all winter long. And then in the springtime, they come up on their own.
So I could plant it in a place where it gets morning sun or early afternoon.
Yeah, good morning sun through. You can have it through most of the day, even.
Okay.
It's just most anything around here, I think, prefers a little bit of afternoon shade.
Okay.
Just that, if it can.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Is there anything we should do to feed it?
I would use, when you plant it, I would use the bone meal and the bone meal and blood meal. If you have a few of them, you're going to work in a small area, just to, a little half a cup, mixed in within that soil, and just let that go. You could, if you wanted to use a slow release fertilizer in with that, and then you don't have to worry about feeding it until probably like next spring or late fall. You could give it a little more than in the spring if you use the slow release.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you. We'll give it a try.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Carolyn, we need to take a little break and have a few commercials play. We'll be right back in just a little bit. If you have a question for Carolyn, you just want to join in on the gardening conversation, the number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline 622 WOCA, and this show is brought to you in part by
Black Cow Manure.
We'll be right back.
Are you still fertilizing flowers and vegetables the old-fashioned way? Then switch to Dynamite. Dynamite Complete Plant Food. The secret to more flowers, bigger blooms, and more vegetables is consistent feeding. Dynamite Complete Plant Food has a unique protective coating that releases nutrition consistently, so there are no highs and lows. Dynamite is complete nutrition. It contains the micronutrients plants need in small quantities for maximum growth. With Dynamite, you get an explosion of color, flowers, and vegetables. Dynamite comes in a handy shake and feed plastic bottle. Just one application will last up to 6 months. For more flowers, bigger blooms, and more vegetables, try Dynamite today. Visit our website and learn more about the science behind the modern lawn long-lasting way to feed your flowers and vegetables at dynamiteplantfood.com. Dynamite Complete Plant Food.
Why are so many Florida residents racing to the Walt Disney World theme park to rediscover their all-time favorite classic attractions and explore what's new? They got a great deal on the 3-day Discover Disney ticket for just $119 plus tax. And why should you be racing to WOCA.com right now? Because you could win your tickets from the source. So get going. Visit WOCA.com for full details on how to win your 3-day Discover Disney ticket.
If there's one diamond event all year long you don't want to miss, it's Goss and Son Jewelers $1 million diamond and restyle event and sale for 3 days only. Thursday, April 25th, Friday, April 26th, and Saturday, April 27th from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. each day. The Diamond and Restyle event and sale at Goss and Son Jewelers will feature a special selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes. Princess, round, marquise, and radiant cuts. Plus 12 months interest-free. Ask for details. Save on to Corey and Scott Sterling. Goss and Son Jewelers has been a Dallas jewelry headquarters for 64 years. If you love diamonds, do not miss this event. Goss and Jewelers Diamond and Restyle event and sale. Thursday, April 25th, Friday, April 26th, and Saturday, April 27th, from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And of course, it's only happening at one place.
Goss and Son Jewelers down on the Ocala Square.
Congratulations to Judy Smith, our most recent winner of the 3-day pass to Walt Disney World. Here's the phone call we made to let Judy know that she was a winner.
Hello, this is Judy.
Yes, it is.
We picked a winner for the Disney tickets this week, and you are the winner.
Here he is. Tuesday.
You got 2 tickets, 3-day passes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for playing the game.
I appreciate it.
You could be our next winner for 2 3-day passes to Walt Disney World. Keep your radio tuned to WOCA, the source. In this moment, who has your back? An insurance company delivering excellence during your claims process. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Let an auto owner's independent insurance insurance, so you have your back. So when the unthinkable happens, you get the claims service you deserve. Call George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today, 352-323191.
Thank you, Dan. 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's rejoin Carol Ann Baldwin, and you've got a garden. If you have a question for Carol Ann, don't forget the numbers. The WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622, and Carol Ann Show is brought to you in part by
Black Cow Cow Manure.
That's what you get to do. You get
That's
to do.
Get to say Black Cow Cow.
Somebody's going to be in a rocking chair one day at the nursing home, and somebody's going to say that, and it's going to trigger it. It'll probably be me.
Right.
I'll be rolling by
Rolling
my
around
chair,
it, yeah.
and I'll say, "Hey, Caroline, this show is brought to you in part by," and then it'll just be
It'll just pop in there, go Black Cow Cow Manure. And we're not far from it. Oh, never did I.
no.
I did, while we had the break, I went ahead and did find my page I was looking for on the Easter lilies. And again, it's telling you plant them, once the flowers are finished, is go ahead and plant them out into the garden. They actually recommend not planting forced Easter lilies near other lilies that apparently they can transmit a virus to, and I don't know if it's that they use something in, something other to force those to bloom at the wrong time. But usually out after the flowers fade, but stems will, as they call, ripen and die down, so that the plant material is going to die off, and they may rebloom in the fall. In a year or two, it may flower in midsummer. It's normal flowering time. They're not really meant to bloom in March.
Oh, okay.
As the way they force them into.
Oh,
at its May flower in midsummer, it's normal bloom time. The as they say, they're wonderful for our area here in Florida, and the Nelly White seems to be the most popular one. Is very popular, which that is probably the one that we're finding in the stores, just based upon the name. The 2.5 feet. If they were smaller, there's a few different hybrid versions, and just plant them out, and again, it would be a what did I say? They say full sun. I still say an area filtered light So there, it goes from a full sun to a filtered light location. So with some afternoon shade, it's going to be better.
And you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning.
This is Lauren.
Yeah.
I have two questions, if I may, and thank you always, as always, for everything you help us with. Number one, the largest Chinese fringe with Chiananthus standard tree that you've seen out there. Just wondering,
personally, I don't know if I've seen any, in the, because I'm usually on the retail end of things around, not so much in some, you're looking for one that's for sale,
no,
or one that's seen in a landscape or something like that. I haven't seen any personally that are real big. I mean, it would be, the smaller, everybody buys them small, and trying to standardize some things. I just think unless you can get that trunk going, well, most people don't go into that standardization because they realize they're not going to be able to keep it up. So most of them I've ever seen have been smaller. The 3-4 foot kind of thing, nothing big.
I see.
It's because once somebody gets something that's a standard, unless you're going to keep that up, it's not some, you've got to keep it pruned, you've got to keep that trunk clean, you've got to keep it,
right.
It's got to be a nice stable trunk, you've got to get it established well. Sometimes they've got so much top on them that trunk for several years takes a while to get sturdy enough to even hold it up, especially in windy conditions. And I've talked to several people recently who have had they've gotten the standard bottle brush, and they had them in the ground for a year or two, but they're still not rooted real well because they had to keep a stake beside the trunk because the trunk is still not sturdy enough to hold itself up.
Right.
So it's a matter that it really does take some extra care. So you don't see them too often in the landscape.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then number two, what are some ways to use black cow as far as, spreading it and using
You
it.
you can use it any way you would think about using a fertilizer. You can top dress with it. You can put it in your spreader, run across the lawn with it as just a basic lawn fertilizer. Roses love black cow. Roses, it's amazing if say you've moved into a home that had some roses existing there, and they just they didn't look real good, or you're not real familiar with rose care, and they're not looking real happy. You clean up the bed, you throw some black cow down there, give them a drink of water, and you'll be amazed at how quickly they begin to put on some fresh growth, and how they look better than what they had for years. Because even that's how I brought some back that were looking really poorly, that had been neglected, and you can use it any way you would any pretty much any fertilizer. You can plant directly in it. If you're creating a new flower bed, once you've marked it out, gotten your grass out of there, taking and mixing in several bags into that area is going to give all the plants you plant in there an excellent start. And it's going to help, it does help with a little bit with the water retention, at least initially, but it's not harmful. It's not something you have to worry about runoff. You don't have to worry about it. Doesn't have an odor. It's not like going into the cow pasture and following behind the cow. It is composted cow manure, so it has gone through. It has reached temperatures to kill off weed seed and other pathogens that you think of at a fresh, at a regular garden soil that may be there. So it's just a good way to give all your plants either a good start in the spring. You can use it as a lawn fertilizer in midsummer, where it's not going to burn anything. It's just a good, you can even plant right directly in it. They actually show it on their bags or on their website. If you ever go to the Black Cow, it's with the K website, and take a look at the pictures in there. They tell you, as I plant right in bags of garden mix, you can plant right in the bag of the cow manure. It's not hot. It's not going to burn anything.
Right. Wow. That is fabulous. And what about for citrus?
For citrus, you can. I worry about putting anything that is on top of citrus tree roots, only because citrus doesn't like to have its roots wet. No tree likes to get buried in it, and it's kind of hard to work it into the soil underneath the citrus trees. You could put a little bit, but I think you do probably better just using a citrus fertilizer.
Right. Yeah, I bring that up because, I have a set suma, but it's
right.
Amongst other, in the bed, in the plant,
Right. It's not gonna hurt it, but to take and say dump a bag there, you can't really work it into the soil because the citrus trees' roots, many of them are right there at the surface, and trying to work in, you can't work that into the soil there, but you could put down a small, amount, because eventually it will break down also into the soil. But if you're treating your other flowers and shrubs that are nearby that area, they're going to be picking up on some of that nutrition also.
Yeah. I don't work anything into the soil because, in my mind, the less I disturb the top, because, for the weeds,
right,
start exposing older weed seeds that are just dying to, get some sunlight, start making your life a nightmare. So, I just, throw things on top, and then let it, seep down.
Many times nature, but with like something like a citrus tree, like I said, you don't want to keep piling on top.
Yeah.
So it would be more of trying to work something like that in, and you even have to be careful with other plants, that you don't want to keep raising that level of the soil, because suddenly what was planted at the proper depth is now planted too deeply.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking of using it, even just, like just a sprinkle, like you.
Oh, yeah, you could, sure.
Organite,
yeah.
Or,
Well, yeah, you could throw, it would, you could use a bag, probably one bag raked around underneath the citrus trees, not too much. That's not going to bury anything.
Yeah.
And it does, it does break down, it's as soil will, or, amendments do. They do break down into the soil. Because if you've ever built a raised bed and you've amended that soil, you've got it all in there, you've put put in bags and bags of compost and cow manure and all kinds of things. And the next year you look at, wow, I have to put more in. Because where did it go? You know, it breaks down. And eventually it you know, you just have to continue to replenish, which is a good thing because you can keep putting more nutrient back into it.
Yeah, and you know, you read up on all kinds of things about you know, drip lines and everything for the trees,
right?
Fertilize and yada yada. And you know, I see in my yard that, you know, specifically I have little purple plum, little suckers,
Right.
coming up like 10 feet away from the drip line. And I know that it's that means that the root is going, you know, way out.
Sure.
So, you know, just to think, you know, that, you know, they say, you know, just fertilize around the drip line. You know,
No.
through the way past it.
Well, but you don't need to fertilize out past the drip line. The feeder roots are between the trunk and the drip line. Once you get out past the drip line, those are just anchors. Those are just holding down. Yes, they do pick up extra moisture and things like that. But that's where, because if they were major feeder roots, you would never be able to put a weed and feed down in your lawn because you'd kill all your shrubs. You'd never be able to use weed control out there because eventually it would be picked up in your plantings and would be absorbed. But no, those are more over anchor roots. They do pick up some moisture and some nutrient, but your primary feeder roots, your primary watering roots are between that trunk of the tree and the drip line.
Right.
So that's where you have to. That's where you concentrate your fertilizers at. That's why I'm not a big fan of the fertilizer stakes that you pound in the ground out at the drip line. Why would I want to feed just a ring around the, you know, a ring around the rosy? A 2-inch or 6 inches, whatever they melt to over that course of time, when I can take and I can throw out 4 or 5 pounds of fertilizer up underneath the tree and fertilize all of the feeder roots and come back, you know, okay, I have to come back 3 times, twice more during the year. That's okay. I'm getting a good even fertilizer through the whole tree, not just the drip line.
Right. And nature really tells us, where, because, when it rains, you see the water dripping off the ends of branches.
Right.
Mostly, coming off at the end of the growth.
From the drip line. That's it.
There you go.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Let's buy some black cow.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And real quickly, just so you know, in about 10 minutes or so, I'll give away a $20 gift certificate to Bob Wine's Community Gardens and Nursery based on a question that I will ask.
All righty. But you're fun trying to find one today.
I found one.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I don't know if it applies to anything we've talked about.
Oh, that's all right. A couple of other things you can mark your calendars for, and it's the demonstration. What do we've got coming up? The soonest one we have coming up is May the 1st, which is not that far away. It's less than a week. Yeah, just over a week away. Are the Overton County Extension Officer guided tours of the gardens, the shade garden, the butterfly, herb, vegetable, tropical demonstration gardens, and these are going on every first Wednesday of the month. So it's a Wednesday first. Yes, it is. So you can mark your calendar that first Wednesday each month in case you can't make one, or you just want to check and see what the gardens look like on a regular basis, that they go through and do a good tour. There's people there to answer some questions for you, and that runs from like 10 to 11. It's not a long thing, but you can come out and be able to ask some questions. And of course, the Master Gardener office is open those days also. But and then on the 2nd of May at the Bellevue Library, they have the Master Gardener series, and this one's called The Potato, the plant that changed the world. And that's at the Bellevue Public Library from 10:30 to noon. And how did a plant coming from the New World change the eating habits of Western Europe, and therefore change and contribute to the modern world? And we've all heard of the Irish potato famine and things like that. So I'm sure that would probably be a pretty interesting
so how did it change the world? Well, you mean we weren't eating potatoes before?
I guess we weren't. That it was something that was not in Western Europe.
Where was it?
New World, North America.
Oh, it started here.
Apparently.
Oh, I thought it went the other direction.
From the New World, changing the eating habits of Western Europe.
Oh. We had potatoes and they didn't
We
have
had,
them.
yeah, we had potatoes, you didn't. But it should be kind of interesting on that. But that's, I guess they never had potato chips and French fries.
I guess not. And yet
It's
they're called French fries.
They're called French fries. Another one you can mark your calendar for is May the 14th. And these are the Tuesday gardening series at from 10 to noon at the extension office. And this is watering your lawn and landscape. Learn watering needs of plants, the timing and application, and how to troubleshoot your irrigation problems. This is something, important. Of course, we've been getting wonderful, we got fabulous rain. Look how green everything is. I know everybody's yard, I heard somebody saying they heard the rain coming down and the grass growing at the same time, so they were out there putting the riding mower onto the trickle charger and getting ready to sharpen the blades, because here we go. It's getting ready to start to be that time.
And I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty much good with the seasons.
We have good seasons.
It's almost like I say, okay, I'm done with that one. I'm ready for the next one.
Ready for the
Almost the perfect timing too. I guess I've lived long enough to
adjust to.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carolyn.
Good morning.
Morning.
There's nearly 1,000 varieties of potato
Right.
native to South America.
Okay.
The continent that we are not.
Right.
And tomato that pleasant plant is also native to South America.
To South America. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Is it,
So they had, that's true, because in Peru, I think the one show I was watching where they actually still grow a mixture of, I want to say the show said about 50 different varieties of potato, all different colors, where we just now we're growing purple ones and things
so
like that.
potato the plural of potato?
Yes.
Same word?
Yeah.
So I have 100 potato.
Potatoes.
Oh, you do put an S.
Yeah, you would put like tomato. Yeah, tomatoes.
Okay. Well, you were saying varieties of
Potato.
potatoes.
If there are 10 varieties of potato, it still makes the same.
I guess.
Because you put the varieties, you put
So how many potatoes do you want?
One potato, two potato. Just put something back into the gardening. Last week I can't remember if it was Dennis or who. We both have a little issue with our pepper plants having some little tiny leaves coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been trying to look it up and figure out whether or not it was little leaf virus. I don't think it actually is. I'm not sure if his, of course, and
How fine
we're
to get
running.
that disease?
You have little leaf. No, I don't think you could ever catch that one. You're a big guy. That these, my pepper plant was one that has been growing since last fall, and I'm beginning to think that maybe with the issue I'm having, it might be from the cooler weather, that where it was trying to put on leaves, and that cooler weather through March was just sort of stunting that. So I'm going to actually cut mine back some and see whether or not the new growth that comes out and does any better with a little added fertilizer, because I don't think I've fertilized them in a while, and see if I can't bring that up and out of it. But I'm not sure. I'm not happy with saying no, it's little leaf virus and we got a problem here. So we're just going to try to grow it out.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, good morning, Carol
Good
Ann.
morning.
You guys are talking about tomatoes. Your estimation, is it a fruit or a vegetable? And what makes it better than the other?
It's a fruit. I know it, and I believe it is. I think they finally said it is, and I think it's the way the seed is within it. And see, I can't say that a vegetables. The plant fruited.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's really strange is when peas begin to produce.
Yeah. I don't
If
know.
your peas are peeing, it's just, yeah.
The peas are peeing, yeah. I don't have the family says fruit, half vegetable, and it always comes up at like Thanksgiving.
Right, during family dinners, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's trying to prove their point, and I'm very confused. I always thought it was a vegetable myself.
Well, we treat it like a vegetable because that's the way we eat it.
Yeah.
But I believe it did finally get classified as a fruit by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
But I think most all of the what we call vegetables, a lot of them are fruit.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, which way idea.
Question is eggplant a vegetable or a meat?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's
It's a vegetable. Not an egg.
Where is the tomato native of?
We had the one caller that worked to South America.
It was South America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever it's a fruit or vegetable, I love my tomatoes.
Oh yeah, me too. I believe the Mediterranean areas also have, several. Because I mean, there's tomatoes. If you start looking at tomato seed catalog,
Yeah.
there's ones that grow in Russia. There's ones that are, for heat. There's ones, so it could be that the tomato is just a really world-renowned kind of plant, but we just didn't know we could eat it for a while.
Yeah, I just love those cherry tomatoes.
Oh, the little sweet 100s.
Oh, they got the greatest flavor. You put them in a bag. It's like a nice little snack. You're driving along or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's a wonderful little thing. But whatever, whether it's a vegetable or a fruit, I still love my tomatoes.
I love the tomatoes, and they're good for you, and they're tasty, and it's one of very few things that actually the nutrition in them increase as we cook them.
Yeah.
That tomato sauce, because it has been condensed down, is actually has more of the lycopene and things like that that a raw tomato has.
Yeah. Can you stop the ripening process of a tomato by refrigerating it?
It would slow it down, but it also sort of makes the texture of the tomato a little. Tomatoes are one thing that you don't refrigerate normally before use.
Right.
When you pick your stuff out of your garden or you bring it home from the grocery store, everybody has a tendency to throw it all in the fridge, or they wash it all and then they put it in the refrigerator. The best thing to do is just set the tomatoes on the counter.
Yeah.
I even prefer not refrigerating most of my produce if I can get away with it, because if you have to set it out, it always seems to turn to mush. It's too cold in that fridge, and not to wash them until I'm going to use them.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of putting tomatoes in a paper bag to make them ripen faster?
It would work. I suppose. I know I usually set them on a windowsill.
Yeah.
But you can store, if you have the fall tomatoes, you're concerned it's going to freeze. You pick your green tomatoes. You get a shallow box, and you can take and wrap each tomato, or make sure you've got paper between each one, and set them in a cool area, a cool part of it. Here in Florida, it's kind of hard to find in the winter time. A cool garage or things like that. If you had a cellar, if you were up north, you could do it. And that'll actually slow the ripening down, but you can still get, you would have your green tomatoes for an extended time, because you could bring up a few, put them out on the sunny windowsill, and ripen them up.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
yeah. But that's, with the tomatoes, it's fresh off the vine, are fabulous. There's little cherry tomatoes out in the garden. Yeah, everybody plant once. You can just run around. If you don't spray, you pick one off and just pop them in your mouth. It's yeah. Little
potatoes and tomatoes, they're both appealing to me right now.
French fries and a tomato sandwich.
Yeah. Good. All right, are you ready? I have a question.
Ready.
It will win somebody a gift certificate worth $20 for Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, and it'll be yours if you answer a trivia question correctly. And the phone number you'll need to call to do that is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-962. Are you ready for the question?
Ready for the question.
All right. The United States Department of Agriculture has a geographic guide, a map, to plants that are suitable for your local climate based on the average cold temperatures.
Right.
It's broken up into zones. We are in 9A. What is that zone called? It's a blank zone. And they're all over the world. They're all over the country anyway. For the USDA, I guess. So United States Department.
What that zone is?
Yeah, what do you call that zone? What does the United States Department of Agriculture call the zone that is mapped out by them? They I guess they publish this. I guess
there's
probably doesn't change ever, or not much. Anyway, we're in 9A. I looked it up. There was a little link on the
8B9A.
8B or 9A?
Yeah, we're on that. We're on a border.
Oh, really? Well, I put it in 34447 now.
Right,
so
right.
That said, came up as 9A. And it's called something. It's called the blank zone map. So we're in zone 9A. What zone? The blank zone. Am I making sense?
I think
I hope answer because you know me. I'm just looking this stuff up. I don't know this stuff. Good morning. Do you know?
I do the shop. Plant zone.
Not the plant zone.
Well, I enjoy talking to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It starts with an H. The word I'm looking for starts with an H. Does that help?
Good.
The word I'm looking for is defined as the ability of a plant to withstand cold temperatures. Does that help? Did I pick too hard of a question? I thought this was going to be an easy.
You might have got us on that one.
Really? I thought this, see, I figured you plant people would know this one. I never knew it. Do I have a line? Let's see, this one's ringing, right? Good morning. What do you think I'm looking for? What's the word? Oh, no, not horticulture. That's a good guess.
That's a good.
You want to keep guessing? I mean, you just keep guessing. I'll walk you through it. I'll help you.
You guys have a good day.
Oh, I guess that's a no. I guess that's a no. All right, thank you. All right, well, all right, come on. Do you know what it is?
I think it's the hardiness zone.
Yes, the hardiness zone. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it said on the internet. Whew, I thought maybe I picked
I was going, yeah, well, actually, I got one here, and unfortunately, my picture's got a climate zones and a heat zone.
Oh, really?
So,
heat zone.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The south, yeah.
And you said we're 8B or 9A?
The 8, yeah.
Depending on where, because we're broadcasting to a larger area.
Right,
I gotcha.
right.
All right, well, that was fun. So, is this Oksana?
Yes, it is.
Hey, long time no here. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine now.
Good.
Yeah.
You've got a gift certificate worth $20 coming to you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be waiting for you.
Okay. My
Hey, you had, yeah, you had stumped. So I went and looked at it.
See, and it's just my, I don't know anything about this stuff. I Google, look for it,
and you have to count on Google being right.
And the funny thing
Wikipedia being right.
The funny thing is about this website is every time I went for anything, I had to keep entering one of those captcha things. You have to type in the letters you see.
Oh, right. So that you're not an auto.
They're
right.
twisted in there. Yeah. And it's like, why? I'm just looking for what zone I'm in. 9A.
Yeah, they're hoping you're not.
And you know, this came up once in the past when Suzanne was doing the show, because the weather
right
zone that we're in 7.
So right, and it really does vary when you read some of these ones in the catalogs where they've got, of course, mine isn't going as far far as California, because I've got a southern living, where some of your temperatures may, or it looks like it's the same thing, it's not the same climate necessarily. In almost near coastal Virginia as Missouri is, it's just not the same. You know, or California and Florida are not the same, though we may have the same number of days below certain temperatures on average, and the same above certain temperatures on average. The climates are still different.
Well, the hardening zone for this area specifically is only shared by the very southern tip of Texas and the southwestern part of Arizona.
Look at there. That one's a better.
That's it. Those three places, and the hottest one is Puerto Rico in the United States.
There you go.
Even hotter than Hawaii.
Wow. Yeah. Well, again, it's a climate thing.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Another good day.
Remember some of this. One day I'll need to use it, right? If I'm ever on Jeopardy or something.
No, that's it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Carolyn. We'll take a little break and be right back.
I said hello to Mary Lou. She belongs to me.
Congratulations to Judy Smith, our most recent winner of the 3-day pass to Walt Disney World. Here's the phone call we made to let Judy know that she was a winner.
Hello, this is Judy.
Yes, it is.
We picked a winner for the Disney tickets this week, and you are the winner.
Serious. Tuesday.
You got 2 tickets, 3-day passes.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you for playing the game.
I appreciate it.
Could be our next winner for 2 3-day passes to Walt Disney World. Keep radio tuned to WOCA, the source.
Oklahoma's information station, 1370 WOCA.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. The Boston Marathon bombing plot was homegrown, according to the surviving suspect. From his hospital bed, where he was formally charged with using weapons of mass destruction to kill, he told investigators he and his brother acted alone and were motivated by religion, not any major terror group. Canadian authorities believe they've headed off a terror plot to derail an Amtrak train bound for New York, with the arrests of 2 men in Toronto. Investigators suspect ties to Al-Qaeda in Iran. People along the Mississippi River are nervously watching the water, hoping it'll subside. However, more rain is in the forecast. Apple rolls out its latest numbers today before the backdrop of reports that returned of iPhone 5s have cost the company over $1 billion. Voice-activated texting is billed as being a safe option for drivers, but a study by Texas A&M finds it's just as dangerous to text with your voice as your hands because of your eyes. They drift off the road and go to the screen to make sure your device got the words right, making your reaction time twice as slow. This is ABC News.
Ocala's information station, 1370